the lead.
The scoreboard at a bass tournament hardly tells a story. Sure, you know who's catching fish, but how they're doing it is the key. A bass tournament is like a big funnel. Pick the winner's brains, pour in the information, and what drips out is a pure how-to lesson. Today, our Bassmaster's TV cameras are at the $231,000 Virginia Invitational at Bugs Island Lake on the Virginia-North Carolina border. We're here in May, late spring, perhaps one of the toughest times to suit up for a tournament. The largemouth bass, for the most part, are in the post-spawn pattern. The fish were in tight on the shoreline cover, but the lake level is rapidly dropping, pulled down over 1.5 feet since practice started 3 days ago. Also, changing weather conditions will play a role in the outcome. How the tournament leaders adjust to keep up with the fish-catching patterns is a textbook lesson in post-spawn bassing. And it's certainly a how-to session that'll produce more bass-catching action for you. Stay tuned. I'm Bob Cobb. The Bassmasters will be right back with first-round action from the Virginia Invitational.
Bugs Island Lake, a 50,000-acre bass fishing factory sprawling over the Virginia-North Carolina countryside. It's the site of the $231,000 Bassmaster Virginia Invitational, a frequent stop on the Bass Angler Sportsman Society's tournament trail. Over 300 fishing pros have plunked down the $600 entry fee. The winner nets $35,000, including $14,000 in cash and a fully rigged Ranger bass boat, powered by an OMC, Johnson, or Evinrude outboard. A big payday. The word is that the winner will earn it. The time is early May, usually a chunk and wind time, when largemouth bass are holding in the shoreline bushes. Normally, a big-bladed spinnerbait, like all-time BASS money leader Larry Nixon is fishing, will produce a limit of 5 keepers. A legal largemouth here must measure at least 14 inches long. Last year, this shallow water spinnerbait pattern produced the winning 57 pounds 4 ounces total for Jack Haynes. It's working again for Nixon and his partner Clark Winland of Texas. The overcast, cloudy conditions favor spinnerbait fishing. In low light, bass aren't buried in the cover. They're more aggressive, chasing a lure. But as good as the shallow water bite is this morning, there's no guarantee it'll hold up for the next 3 days of competition. Uppermost on the anglers' minds is the falling lake level. The floodgates at the John H. Kerr Dam on Bugs Island are open and working overtime. Best estimate is the lake level will drop almost 3 feet during the tournament. However, today the bite is strong. Homer Humphreys of Louisiana has hooked a keeper-sized largemouth on a spinnerbait, fishing flooded pole timber on points in the Nutbush Creek area. Flipping a soft plastic crawworm in shallow flooded brush is working for Jay Yellis of Texas, and he doesn't waste any time getting a fish in the boat. But Gary Howington of Gadsden, Alabama may have heart failure trying to get this Bugs Island lunker on board. This bass could be worth a $1,000 bonus as the day's big bass at weigh-in. For a 40-year-old impoundment, Bugs Island is an amazing bass fishery. The over 7,700 pounds weighed in at the 1992 Virginia Invitational set a record for 5 bass limit tournaments, and big bags of bass are coming in today. Mickey Bruce of Georgia takes the early lead with 20 pounds 3 ounces. However, a 4-pound-plus average won't be good enough. Here's Gary Klein of Texas, the top-ranked angler on the BASS trail.
20 pounds, 10 ounces, bingo. New leader. There he is, folks, and they're all giant fish. They're all on 4, 5, and 3, 3.5, and he is going to be a man to beat, I can tell you. I would wager we've got close to 100 limits today, and here you are with a record. What's going on?
I covered an awful lot of water today. I basically fished both ends of the lake. My partner had a little area that we went into, and I hit like 5 nice fish in a row. So it worked out good.
117 5 bass limits are weighed in. Gary Klein with 20 pounds 10 ounces holds the lead, but only 1 pound 14 ounces separates the top 5. Bill Bartlett of Tennessee, Mickey Bruce, Denny Brower of Missouri, and LaVon Bentley of Alabama are right there. Stay tuned. The Bassmasters will continue in a moment from Bugs Island Lake at South Hill, Virginia.
Nope.
Day 2. Fog blankets the Roanoke River Valley. A delayed start for the second round of the Virginia Bassmaster Invitational. A tough break for anglers fishing the shallow water spinnerbait pattern. They're missing the prime time bite. Finally, 3 hours behind schedule, the fog burns off, followed by more bad news. Bright, clear skies, tough fishing conditions with no wind. Tournament leader Gary Klein is trying to adjust.
Oh, yeah, wind would really help, but if it stays calm like this and this clear water and the sun's out like this, I'm going to go back out and fish the dirtier water. It's dead flat. The sun's been out for a long time, and the fish are basically finished with their morning feed, so they're just less aggressive. There's a nice fish. It's a nice way to get the morning started.
LaVon Bentley in 5th place thinks the conditions have the fish confused, too.
Seems like the fish on this lake's doing a little bit of everything. They're all wanting to bed. It seems like some are just moving up out of deep water. And these water conditions are really keeping them confused. Also keeping some of us confused. That majority of these fish are keying on the old bank line, the buck brush out that you can't see. I think they're doing that because the water has been continually falling for about a month now. You could catch the fish early, I could, with a spinnerbait up sort of shallow. But then after about 2.5 to 3 hours, they would, it seemed like they would back out and key on that outer brush. I think the fog this morning, getting a 9:30 start, is going to hurt a lot of people, including myself.
Mickey Bruce in 3rd place yesterday is also struggling.
Big difference between yesterday and today. Man. I don't like the looks of none of those bushes.
From the looks of things, the standings are going to change, too, at this afternoon's weigh-in. But Mickey Bruce checks in with a 5 bass limit. He figured the fish out.
He takes the lead today with 11 pounds and 14 ounces. Let's give him a nice hand. Takes the lead. Boom. Man.
We lost a lot of the low light hours, and I had to change around and do a little bit of things different, but I managed to beat out 5, and I'm tickled to death.
You got the lead. Congratulations to you.
Tough day at the office. 3 bites.
Overall, the catches are down. Yesterday's leader, Gary Klein, missed his limit. Only 3 keepers, 8 pounds, 4 ounces.
My bite just wasn't there today. I caught all 3 fish doing what I was doing yesterday, but those are the only 3 hits I had. And tomorrow, I have no idea. I'm just going to play the weather, and hopefully I'll go out and catch another big bag.
With bright sunny conditions and non-aggressive bass, flipping usually works. And one of the best in the bassin business is
Denny Brower of Missouri, 19 pounds yesterday. He got a marvelous opportunity now to move up. 5 bass, all alive for Denny Brower in the weight, 14.7. That puts him clearly in the lead. Now, folks, this is what professional stuff's made of. Angler of the year in the past, many, many times, classic contender. And when the going gets tough, the tough get going.
How tough was it? Only 30 limits were scored today. Yesterday's tally, 117 5 bass bags. Going into the final round, Denny Brower has a 1 pound 6 ounce advantage over Mickey Bruce and J.D. Knoll of Maryland, who are tied for second with 32 pounds 1 ounce. Tomorrow's weather outlook, clear and sunny.
A lot of times the sun can help you do well, but what's happening here with these fish, you've got a lot of fish up, post-spawn, some of them trying to bed, and when the sun comes out, they suspend around the targets in the bushes, and they're very, very skittish. You can't get close enough to catch them. A bait hits within 5 foot of them, they're gone, and they won't come back. You can't catch them. Now, if those fish will get back down on the bottom, then they're going to be catchable fish or suspend. But if they're right underneath the surface, we're going to have problems. So I'm hoping for wind or cloud cover, really.
The Bassmasters will be right back with final round action in the Virginia Invitational from Bugs Island Lake. Stay with us. You'll learn the secret to catching post-spawn bass. Tournament leader Denny Brower is fishing way upriver in a creek off Bugs Island Lake. He's had the area to himself the first 2 rounds of the Virginia Invitational. His is the only boat in Buffalo Creek this morning. But Denny's got company. The luck of the computer drawing system has paired Brower with Levon Bentley, who's in 9th place, only 6 pounds behind. Both are in position to win. However, Levon's agreed to play follow the leader. As expected, Brower is using his trademark flipping technique, moving quickly along the shoreline cover and pitching his lure to flooded trees and bushes. But the lure choice is surprising. A green pumpkin-colored plastic lizard, rather than his usual jig and pork presentation. Why the lure change in this post-spawn situation?
Now, they bite the lizard better. Smaller profile bait. For some reason, these fish are very spooky, and that bigger, bulky bait, they just don't want as well. Got a dentist.
Down lake in the dam area, Tim Renault of Texas has backed off the shoreline. Renault in 5th place is fishing a Carolina-rigged lizard on a break line off a red clay point. With bright sun, Mickey Bruce has switched from his early morning spinnerbait pattern to using a Carolina-rigged soft plastic lizard. Bruce in 2nd place and partner Tim Loper of Tennessee are getting strikes, but they don't measure up to the 14-inch size limit. Steeper banks along the creek channel have been the key areas for Denny Brower. The bass are still holding here, but not moving with the falling water, as have the fish on the flooded flat points. Tim Renault and partner Linda England of Tennessee are getting quality bites, just not many strikes. With the floodgates open and a strong current over the clay point, the bass seem to move up at odd times to feed, perhaps when bait fish are pulled into the area.
Good job.
Denny Brower is covering water, moving fast, pitching the 6-inch plastic lizard at any visible target. There doesn't seem to be any particular type cover the bass are holding around.
Yeah.
caught that one earlier.
With a breeze picking up and a ripple on the water, Mickey Bruce has switched tactics. He's pitching a spinnerbait around deeper, flooded bushes near the points on the main lake.
Not my day. Broke my spinnerbait. Fish won't even keep, I don't think.
The plastic lizard Denny Brower's fishing is rigged Texas style with a buried 4/0 hook, a special screw-type peg sinker on a 20-pound test trend line. With the water clearing, he's changed from 30-pound test. Denny Brower's got a hot hand. He's going to be tough to beat at the final weigh-in.
Now, folks, here's the leader of the tournament, Denny Brower, as of yesterday, with 33 pounds and 7 ounces. And here he's got to have how much to take the lead? All right, let's wait and we'll find out. 14 pounds, 13 ounces. I believe that will give him back the lead. Let's give a nice hand, folks. There's your winner. What did you do and what was your strategy? Tell us what happened.
Well, I found one creek that just had a lot of fish in it in practice and just made my mind up to go in there and try to spend as much time as my partners would allow me. And I had 3 wonderful partners that allowed me to spend a lot of time in there. And I just picked them off one at a time, flipping and pitching a lizard around any type of wood I could find. And each day with the water dropping, there was fewer and fewer targets in the water. So it got a little tougher, and with the water clearing up and the bright sunshine, I got less bites every day. But yesterday I just caught 5 keepers, and today I managed to get 8 keepers. So.
Wonderful story. Let's give a nice hand, folks. There's your winner right there.
With a 3-day total of 48 pounds, 4 ounces, and 15 bass, Denny Brower picks up the $35,000 top award. Mickey Bruce wins $23,000, 3 pounds, 14 ounces off the lead. And J.D. Knoll of Maryland finishes third to earn $21,000. Awards well earned and lessons learned about post-spawn bassin'. Right now, it's time for the Pros Pointer, the how-to section of the Bassmasters. Brought to you by Wrangler, the most comfortable jeans known to man.
Something a lot of folks have trouble with is when to use plastic bait and when to use the jig and the pork frog or the jig and the plastic trailer. And what I normally do, I love fishing jigs, and especially in cold water. They're bulky bait, they settle slow, and they're a good big fish bait. But when fish go into a post-spawn type of situation, like what we had in this particular tournament, a lot of times they're real finicky eaters, and you need a more subtle presentation, a bait that doesn't put out the bulky pressure waves of a jig. And a lizard's a great way to go during post-spawn and spawning fish. And that's kind of what I've done this week, is just stuck with the lizard, made a lot of presentations. And what I've basically done with this bait is bushes like this, as the water's falling, the fish were keying on the outer edges of the bushes, and I was making little pitches like that, making soft landings, letting the bait go straight to the bottom in the middle of the bush, shaking it a couple times, and getting it out of there if I didn't have a bite, and putting it into the next bush. Covering lots of water, standing on the trolling motor. There weren't fish bunched up in any areas. These post-spawn fish are scattered fish, and one key to catching them is moving. Cover a lot of water because they're not bunched up like other times of the year.
Post-spawn, a tough time to figure out the bass. The key to winning, of course, was staying ahead of the changing conditions. Another great win for Denny Brower. But, of course, he seems to be at his best when things are the toughest. Depending on when you're here, fishing Bugs Island or Kerr Reservoir, as it's known, can be as different as fishing 2 different lakes. Next week, we'll show you what happens when the Bassmaster Tournament Trail returns to South Hill, Virginia. The fall bass fishing is different. you'll learn a new strategy and how the pros adapt to changing conditions and seasonal patterns. For the Bassmasters, I'm Bob Cobb. See you all next week right here.